This next one's about, I've read it before here, it's about what goes on downstairs. There's a couple down there who have a couple of small children, and they, well, they don't know how to take care of themselves, never mind the children, but the father is Jimmy. I'll just introduce the characters here. The father is Jimmy, the mother is Fernanda, and Nikki is a 4-year-old. Outside, autumn's leaves are turning. Downstairs, Jimmy's anger to rage. Nikki needs another Band-Aid. Fernanda hasn't been seen in days. While outside, autumn's leaves are turning ashen and red. Joe is moving out, reminded of his childhood, the shrieks of his mother, a cornered bird, the choking breath of his father blasting from a red, twisted face and through his bedroom door. While here, there is a muffled crying. Echoing up through a vent on the floor, a mother fears that her daughter is crazy, hopelessly committed at the age of 4 to a life of storms, to days without light, and not from the weather, but a lack of care that left her alone in her room, curtains drawn, purple clouds in her eyes with her unkept hair. But she, so adaptable, finding her sleep, in spite of the death threats, the sobbing, flesh-slapping, the fists, and the walls of her world forgotten, the symbols of her childlike imagination surface as she hides her ears under blankets, the words, the phrases, motherfucker, the shadows of their blackened eyes, the hands raised high in accusation, the missing gold chains, the heroin packets. She sleeps like a newborn brother unattended, strung out and thrashing on the kitchen table in a house where the children are driven to madness by screams into dreams from the mouths of their parents. This is a quick one. It's called Portrait. Thinking I could soften her, make her lips a little larger, attacking her disturbing grimace with the pen. Her glare, now muted, hairless burden of love lost, lust twisted, endless convolutions, but the mood prevailed, even after the smile. I realized it was not the mouth at all, but the hollow stone hatred of the man in her eyes. Okay, this next one is just sort of a bunch of quick ideas that I had while I was sitting down at Oban Pen in the cafe there in Harvard Square. Just sort of looking around. I was doing some writing, and I just sort of like started thinking about what it meant to be a writer, and what what it meant to not only me but everyone else particularly that I was looking at in the cafe. So here it is. The man is a mirror sitting in front of me, 60 years scribbling with rumpled hair, sprawling like matted dry string against the smoothness of his globular, reflective head. With Anthony and Cleopatra he had always wanted to read it again, only now had he at last begun to carry the small green book around with him. It is cold here sitting by the window, needle shards from the icicle trees escape the glass, to pierce through and stiffen my red clutching fingers into petrified twigs around the pen. Early morning, so often spent in a dream state anxiety, tether of a man, but now, with classical music pervasive, hand felt skinning the grates of the table, I write in the shadow of his beard unshaven, today, and so, perhaps forever. The mumbling figures out in the courtyard leave us only to insert, to imagine the echoes of their silent faces a blur, the ragged brown pigeon tiptoeing like a Frenchman on the thin sheet of ice that covers the pavement, the husky, blue eyes only free from the leather, as the raw strap is fastened to the red iron rail, where a woman will stop, with the hand extended, to offer her greeting to the fur-capped stranger. She peers into sad eyes, one gray drop ear looping, and scratches his triangle head bare-handed. He misses her warmth as he leans on the metal that will keep the chill of this air forever, He is struck by a distant ancestral memory, bows low to the winds of a lost Alaskan winter. In homage, he pays his respects to the spirits. His idols are not Lassie and Rin Tin Tin. Sherlock Holmes' hat appears at a table, reading Spy of the Old School by Julian Rathbone, who would watch his father through a keyhole cathedral late at night, pipe smoking, fixing his furious black and white glare intently on the screen. My father would read, but never out loud, while the novels I skim all rest unfinished, like the paragraphs of his unsent letters, as brief as our conversations on the phone. But still, this unjustifiable legacy, embraced by the tatterlocked, bearded bard near at hand, once witnessed offering flowers white, neatly wrapped in poetry to a patronizing woman quoting Nietzsche unabashed, upright in her therapeutic posture of scrutiny. He needed counseling, out of touch with reality, but he writes, and this his only bridge, from the inner reaches of his chosen homeland to the island of social institution like a moon he will photograph but never firmly plant his feet on. What if she saves him, saves the bigots and comedians from the throes of their narrow pursuits and plights? Will there be no self-parody left for the stone-cast ways of the mighty and the right? The tower teeters, the boa falls limp, the numbers of their ailing company depleted. Massaquoi screams through the eardrum perforations, sifting his words into mountains of insult. It is not my fault, but the big corporations. I have nothing to do with it. The slaves at the department stores, supermarkets, melt all the brand name scapegoats into one. A man walks by holding How to Read a Book. Fettered now, he will be stalled forever, not so much like the clock and the weather, but the darkness and black and the soul of America, while I mercilessly scar the pen and the paper. A voice echoes, what's the use all this writing? Are there any we might reach who would alter their opinions? And who are we anyway to value our own? I look around slowly to measure the impact, the subtle responses and manifestations and evidence in every face in the cafe. The pen reflects the sun with the skill of a dagger, and so I will be here writing forever. I'm going to end it up here with something that I think is sort of upbeat. I'm not sure. I just wrote it, and it's called Ideologue, and I'll just, if I can read my writing, I'll read it, and that'll be it. I will never let them squeeze the joy from out of me, not the white warlords or the desert martyrs, not the mock harem kings or the needles of lovers. I will not pour the blood of my passions into one cup only to find the paper riddled and torn. I will not succumb to the fashionable politic. I will never embrace the art of guns. I will mark the words of a Buddha or a Satan if they choose to surface from deep within me, but I will not be a bullied crusade victim of the orphan faith now heavy on the throne. I will shuck the bloody thorns from their crowns and make the splinters of their wooden crosses smooth. I will make no haven of my flesh and bone. I will understand only that I do not understand. I will rest secure with a sense of insecurity. I will carve no niches and hoist no defenses. I will be fueled by the face of every stranger. I will melt the snow and drown the rainfall to fill my well with both pain and pleasure. I will never laugh with that cold, blank stare again, and I will never let them squeeze the joy from out of me. Thank you.
That was A.J. DeFrancisco.